Caden Allen, we saw a little bit earlier last night. We saw him double-dipped by the aforementioned Austin Cameron.
Tyler Goodwin.
For the juniors. So Tyler Godwin, you will see him in the blue lane. This is the
Tyler Goodwin out of
Bracket B championship was just settled by Caleb Hurt and Austin Cameron over Austin Cameron. But this is the Bracket A, Caden Allen, Tyler Godwin match. And, it's interesting, too. Tyler Godwin comes in as the 27th seed against the 34th seed, Caden Allen. And another new face, and a new face here in a new game on center court, which is awesome. And he plays out of Alabama as well, Heart of Dixie. Alabama, Heart of Dixie. No surprise here.
You know who that is, right?
Yeah, no, I do not.
Oh, you do.
Yes, I do.
My buddies. Man, they are sending some players. They couldn't be here themselves, so they sent their players here.
Well, it appears to be a bit of a cornhole factory, if you will. So I'll tell you right now that as these guys get this game underway and the lower seed Caden Allen takes the first couple of points here on the board, we are in for, I think, a great night as we work our way to our championship. And I'll tell you something else, Phillip. These guys, the best part about seeing new faces and new games on center court is we're not just seeing some of them for the first time. They're seeing each other for the first time.
That's right.
And that is what really makes for some good gaming, because they are feeling each other out during these first couple of rounds. And I think we're going to see a lot more strategy. And I think we're going to see, because we knew both of the games inside and out, and those guys knew each other's games in the last match with Austin and Caleb. I think this is going to be a whole different ball game. I think you're going to see a lot more risks taken, and some of them need to be taken by Tyler here pretty soon.
Tyler, and it may come down to that nervousness. We have not seen Tyler on center stage, and so far, Caden has stepped his game up. And this has to be the double dip situation by Tyler. And he's got to step his game up to get to that double dip situation. Dip. Get a little tongue tied there.
Earlier, Caden Allen took down Jed Thomas to advance to this round. And so, as you mentioned, it is going to be a double dip situation for Tyler Godwin, 23 years old, throwing Viper bags in the blue lane.
And he may pick up his first two here. Let's see if he can get it done. Oh, bag goes right by the hole.
And we have seen time and time again the inability to take advantage of a window of opportunity. And earlier in the matches that we saw in some of those bracket finals, Phil, we didn't see that. We didn't see mistakes, repeating mistakes, but we are seeing a lot more of that here as the afternoon and evening wears on. Maybe it's nerves, maybe it's fatigue. I mean, they have thrown a lot of bags over the course of this weekend.
Let's talk about that for just a minute. They've been throwing all day long since 8 o'clock. Oh, and there's a mistake by Caden Allen. Let's get April to pick it up. April's our official now.
Toss that off to the side.
Nice play. And so anyway, these guys have been playing all day long. The bracket pool play started at 9 o'clock this morning, Eastern time, and we're still rolling. These ones that are here have played a lot of matches, and the ones that come out of the elimination bracket have played even more. So
yeah, they have been playing, and you've heard probably in the background here, because we are again in the Knoxville Convention Center, and there are still 50-plus sets of boards that are being played on right now, and everybody working their way towards separate goals, whether it's still part of that, get out of that elimination bracket to get back here to center court, or work their way into the doubles championship. We have got a lot of great gameplay to go, and you hear it in the background. And these guys, as you mentioned, have thrown a lot of bags, and we're doing our best to keep it going so that nobody cools off too much, because we have seen, and talk about that a little bit, what you've noticed over a handful of tournaments where, and we'll see this, and again, I constantly talk about the comparisons to golf, but if somebody's waiting for a playoff, they're over on the driving range, they're over on the putting green, they're over there tuning up to get ready. And we've seen a lot of, I think, mistakes made by players that are waiting to get back on center court.
And I tell you, I see one right now. Douglas Parker, I know, is coming up shortly, and he's sitting over there. Hasn't picked up a bag. You've seen him walking around talking to people. Hasn't thrown a bag since he sat down. So, and he's going to play the same guy that put him in the
elimination.
Yeah,
so he's working his way
yeah.
back out of the elimination bracket to fire off again against Austin Thomas. And there's got to be a little bit of a mental game there as well to run up against somebody again that second time, just like we saw Caleb have to square up against Austin and get the better of him that time, even though he got bounced to the losers bracket by Austin earlier in the day. This is a very nonchalant game.
Yeah. And I saw Tyler do exactly what I told you, that nerves. The last round, he threw one completely off to the right of the board.
Missed the board completely?
Yeah, completely to the right.
Now,
and that's definitely a nerve.
Well, and I would tell you, we have names, we have slide shots, we have block shots, air mails, push shots, flop shots, roll shots. That one is called the fin.
The fin?
Yeah, the one that just goes completely off the board.
We had the fin that was sitting up a minute ago.
That's called the other fin.
Yeah. So we got two fins. Fin one,
the reason
fin
the first one can't be called the fin is it was actually on the board. I am not what you would call good.
Eric told me you are better than you talk. So. And I trust Eric's judgment.
We shall see. We shall see. Afterward, maybe a little bit of maybe an opportunity to get out and toss some bags during a break and do a little exhibition. Earlier, it cost me some push-ups. I had to do some push-ups.
Oh, I hate I missed
court.
that.
Yeah, well, they were actually pretty good. I was a little bit surprised. They were near regulation.
I would have liked to have really seen that.
Did
you see that bag right there? It knocked. He threw it on the board, and two of Tyler's bags fell in.
Yeah, and that adjustment there by April Clemens, our official on center court, and that's something that you can see as you watch on center court. You can, on the camera, see that the way the pitch pad's laid out, there's a space specifically laid out to make things easier for you if you are laying out your court, 27 nose to nose, 27 feet nose to nose on the boards, but that's a great way to keep your boards in line and positioned properly during the course of your game.
Oh, and I was just fixing to say, Tyler has settled in. He throws one off the back and gives up three, and he cut the lead to 11-7, and all of a sudden, wow, one goes off the back.
Well, and I would tell you the one thing that's been interesting and consistent about Caden's play is its inconsistency.
Yeah.
He's on fire for 3 or 4 rounds, and then all of a sudden there's just a couple where he cools off, and then he gets on fire again. And I'm not saying that to cast aspersions, if you will. It's just he's consistently inconsistent, and that might be those center court nerves. You don't know.
That might be. And you know what? That's a very good observation, because that's exactly what has happened to him. Happened to him last night.
Mm-hmm. It did. That's what caused him to be double dipped in the juniors championship by Austin Cameron.
And Tyler says his favorite player is Caleb Hurt. So,
well, he had a good opportunity to go to school early, and so if he's able to figure out a way around this right here and double dip, he may find himself face to face with his favorite player.
Yeah.
Oh, up and over, and just a little bit.
Nice shot.
A little bit of it kind of, I guess, ring around the hole there, and ultimately that's going to cost him just the deuce, but
16-7.
It could have been worse had that shot off the back of the board, so I'm sure he will take it, and he lives to pitch another frame.
It's now Caden's trying to put some pressure on him. And there's that consistency back for a little bit.
Yeah, and so often the key is just to reset your game and use the center of the board to do it. Go do the thing you know you can do, and this right here opens up a nice window of opportunity, and he does not take advantage of it.
That is absolutely the ones you have to take advantage of,
yet again.
Especially when you're trailing 16-7. So many times when I've lost matches, I go back and look back at the bags that I missed that could have changed the whole game, which is a lot, by the way. So.
All right, so.
That's what happens, though.
Caden takes that comfortable middle and makes it his own. It's a blocker bag there to force Tyler's hand to see if he wants to clean it up or go up and over. He just decides to I think he thought he was going to lay that blocker in there, but he moved it off and pushed it just a little bit to the right. A replacement bag there from Caden.
That's a good bag right there. That's nice. I think that's what he should have done with the last one.
Nice cleanup. Now, he does not have a chance really at this bag off to the side, so that's the best he could hope for right there, and just give up the deuce.
And he's just 1 3-pointer away from
I'll tell you what.
Caden Allen moving on, and he's had a great weekend here. Played some very nice games right here on center court.
We will be moving on to the bracket D elimination final, the Austin Thomas and Doug Parker rematch that you discussed. We just had that match a little while ago.
I think Doug Parker's going to give Austin a better game this time.
Well, you certainly are playing with a little bit of revenge in mind as well when you've been bounced and you have to work your way back through it. That was very nicely done. We haven't seen a lot of airmail shots through this game, so I really thought we have a little bit more risk-taking than we've seen, but that was very well placed and very well done, and there's an opportunity absolutely for sure. Especially
another one right here, I bet.
Can do it again, absolutely. Oh, what he does. How about that? Nicely done.
Wow.
Now, is that the groove that he needs? And Caden takes a look back at the scoreboard thing. Well, I still got 11 spot up on him, but he's got to make this bag count, and really there's no way for him to push this whole group in. He's just going to lay low.
No, he tried to go around. Let's see if Tyler shoots one more.
Yep.
There he goes.
He knows he's giving up some points. He's just trying to figure out how many up and over. Oh, and he does it again. 3 airmails in a row.
Points.
Tyler Goodwin, nicely done. Grabs the 6-pack.
If that won't get you flowing right there, nothing will. That was a nice round right there for Tyler.
Really
Goodwin.
was. And when he absolutely needed to have it, too. And those were not easy shots. And to be able to dial that in 3 times in a row was pretty spectacular. He takes the first bag, grips it in his right hand, lets it go. Pretty good loft and a good blocker right there.
He's got an interesting grip. It's gripped almost like a Kyle Anderson grip, more of a washer-type grip. If you look at his grip when he gets ready to throw it, he's got
in between his index and third finger.
Man, he is settling in nicely.
And we discussed this with Caden in the juniors final last night. He starts vertically and then brings it to that horizontal position to get that flat bag going. But, you're right, between those 2 knuckles with the thumb position, and still pulls out a flat bag out of that. And washers, you mentioned washers. I say washers just because that's the way you pronounced it. But
washers,
that's how being from Louisville, Kentucky, trust me, washers, I totally get it. But the game washers is, I don't think, a game that's familiar to everybody. Explain that game just a little bit as these guys wash.
To this, my father would bring washers home from work and dig holes in the ground, and we'd throw to these holes in the ground. But I have seen the boards where you're throwing, I don't know what the distance is because I really hadn't played, throwing toward a similar hole to cornhole.
And doing it between that first and second finger.
And what I understand is the washer throwers do hold it between their index finger and their middle finger. And you see Kyle Anderson, he's one that comes to mind. Diesel Dave is the same way.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I thought that was a wash, but it turned out Caden was able to put up a 2-spot. He had a couple of bags, one up there high, and he pushed one in for each of them and one off in the backside. Now this is I think a pretty easy decision here for Tyler.
That was nice right there.
Nicely done. That's exactly what he wanted to do.
And this could be 5 and make it 20-18.
There's an opportunity. Yeah. Is he going to try to shoot it, or is he going to do that get-around shot?
Go right through. I think he can slide this one right in.
He's going around.
There it is.
And he drips it in on the backside. Nicely done. A little scuba shot there off the backside, flopping off the edge of the boat right down underwater.
That's exactly what happened.
20-18. Who'd have thunk it?
Tyler has made some really nice shots coming that way on his inside arm. It seems like he struggled a little bit going the other way. Let's see if he can right the ship right here, because he is right back in this game. A little bit off to the left. That bag can be bullied. Now he's going to step out and go ahead and get it.
Come in low and fast. And he does just that.
But he kicked out, and he leaves the door open.
Boy, and that replacement bag right there just took that bag completely out of play,
Yeah,
it looks
he did.
like. And that also
Smart play.
leaves Caden an opportunity to push hard and get both of those bags.
Oh, and he tried to block, and I think
Yeah,
that might be the doom. Every time he's tried to block, he's been off to the left or the right.
that one did it. This is going to come in hard and
Yeah.
low. He's going to collect. Yeah, the next one's going to make it happen.
And we saw Caleb Hurt in the same situation. That's how he won the game. There's not much he can do but try to just block this up. He can't knock him in because he's got two bags out to the right. So this has got to be a block right behind him.
Going to force Caden to come in and
Oh,
make it
that'll
happen,
do
and
it.
that's going to do it. I think that's going to
Yeah,
do it. He's not even going to
that'll
pitch
do it.
that final bag. Well, he will, but it is
Yeah.
a dead bag right out of the chute. So congratulations, Caden Allen, out of the king seat, able to take down Tyler Goodwin, the number 27 seed. 21-18 is the final, and we will continue on. Bracket D, Austin Thomason to Douglas Parker, a rematch of the match that you saw a little bit earlier here on Stadium, watchstadium.com.
ACO, we are Cornhole.